and welcome to Zimbabwe. We're here on safaris. We booked through Demopier and Sons Outdoor Adventures. We've got quite the collection of professional hunters with us. Starting over here, this gentleman is Thulane Matiwaza. He is a Zimbabwe PH. To his right, your left, is Mr. Tim Schultz, who is also a Zimbabwe PH. My friend Donnie Wingard of Donnie Wingard Safaris, who is licensed in the Republic of South Africa and is here with us. And our apprentice hunter, Von Blom, who is learning as we speak. We're going to talk a little bit about safari and what to expect. I've been on a handful, and I kind of have a feel for it, but I feel you as a hunter would benefit from some questions answered. Donnie, first and foremost, tell us the difference between a South African safari for plains game and a safari here in Zimbabwe, where we are in a dangerous game block.
Phil, I think the biggest difference here being that in South Africa we've got a very large variety of species, but it is mainly fenced areas. Not that I consider that to be a problem. Most of the areas are big enough to have a proper fair chase hunt. But for a proper big game experience, you really need to come to these big open areas where you can truly hunt wild animals and not animals that are used to seeing people and vehicles on a daily basis.
Well put, well put. I mean, and while South Africa is a great value, on the norm your daily fees are lower, where they're higher in a dangerous game block. This is truly wild Africa.
Exactly.
And again, no slight to the Republic of South Africa, because we just came back from a 3-day safari, you and Dave and I, and we had an absolute blast.
I think the newcomer in the business, guy that wants to come into an African safari, South Africa offers very good value for money, with great species variety, safe environment,
Malaria-free
in most of the areas, but you need to progress, and life is not about hunting in just plains games.
Right.
You really need to experience the greater safaris that Africa has to offer, and to me, Zimbabwe is an ideal venue.
And it's a great beginning point, to wet your feet in Africa and get a feel for the life.
Absolutely.
Thulane, can you tell people a little bit about not only Zimbabwe and the customs here and the political environment of coming to Zimbabwe, but about how they can best enjoy their safari in terms of physical fitness and overall mental preparation?
Okay, thank you, Phil. Zimbabwe is one of those destinations that I think, as Danny did highlight, that it's a free-range area. You've got lots of space to cover. Where we are right now, the areas that we concentrate mainly on are on the borders and within the perimeters of Hwange National Park, and which is a very large area that we have to cover.
Mm-hmm.
So that would best explain. The only way to put it is that someone has to be physically fit. You have to work on your body. You have to walk. Do a bit of walking maybe in the mornings and late afternoons following after game, whatever we're hunting, whatever we're after, be it elephant, buffalo, and even some plains game as well.
What would you say the average distances are for the particular hunt, just to give hunters back home an idea to start to get in shape?
Depending on what we're hunting, if it's elephant, you're looking at maybe 15 to 25 Ks in a day that we have to cover, but not just walking straight up all the way. But what we'll do is we'd walk, have a bit of a rest, and then follow on from there. I think I'll put it that way, that you have to be physically fit and you have to come here ready for the hunt.
To make sure you enjoy it the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me a little bit about Zimbabwe and flying into Bulawayo. Now, I just went through the experience, and your company was fantastic, whisked us through. But let them know at home what we have to go through.
We have a beautiful airport, very new airport, Joshua Mkabugo, Nyongolo Nkomo Airport. Very beautiful terminal that's been built. Previously, we were in a hangar, which was a bit of for quite some time. That airport has just been constructed. It's finished now. I think you had a beautiful experience coming in.
We did.
The paperwork doesn't take too long, hopefully. If all things are done, if all the preparations prior to coming here.
For instance, we went through Travel with Guns, and we got the forms in advance, so that helped whisk us through.
It helps. When you get there and all your forms are filled in, and then you just hand them over to the officials. It makes it all lighter. The fact that you want to pass through and you don't want to be there for quite a long time if you're a first timer as well coming into the country. I think also the other plus is that the country is safe. You're looking at a safe country. some people have asked questions and said to us, do you think it's safe to come and hunt in Zimbabwe? Had a lady who's coming over a couple of months from now. She asked and she says, is Zimbabwe safe enough? Said to her, definitely, you know. We will be honest about it every time a client asks and says, is it safe enough to come? And most of the time people see negative stuff on the news and not all of it is true.
Right.
You always have to get it straight from the operator themselves. You know, you have to trust someone. If you trust someone, then I think that speaks volumes on its own.
Absolutely, and I mean, you guys took us from Bulawayo out here to where we are now, and all the way up to Hunky,
Yeah.
and without an issue. It was really no problem. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now everybody's favorite part. We've got Cowboy Tim Schultz over here. And we're going to talk a little bit about safari guns. Most guys back in the States spend a lot of time dwelling on the particular energy figures and particular bullet construction and the benefits of a 416 Rigby versus a 416 Remington, 4.58 versus 3.75. Tell me, you're the guy in the bush every day. You're the guy who sees clients come over. What would you want to add to this mix about guns?
Well, basically, you know, a guy comes out here, especially a first timer, a 375 is more than enough. You know, he can basically shoot everything. His plains game, his big game, and he wants to be comfortable with it. As long as he can shoot it accurately.
That's a very important point.
That is very important. You know, shot placement is important. If it's something big, he can't handle the recoil and what have you. You know, he's just going to mess things up. And we like a guy to shoot his own animals. Obviously, we only back up when necessary, and I like to keep it that way. You know, you're paying for that experience. You know, you must do it, you must experience it. But yeah, you know, a 375, it's comfortable. It doesn't have a.
It's universal.
Correct, and you can use it, like I said, for just about anything. I recommend that certainly for and even with big game. You know, it's more than enough gun for elephant, buffalo. You know, really, when it comes to stopping power, knockdown power, that's up to your professional hunter. You know, when things go wrong and etc.
Yes, that's your mess to clean up.
Correct.
Although with that 404, we didn't have to do it today.
No, correct.
So gun comfort is essentially what you're talking about.
Absolutely. You know, someone coming out must know their limitations. Leave your ego at the airport or wherever.
Check it in storage.
Yeah. You know, it's not about that. It's about enjoying your hunt. If you're going to shoot some caliber that's just too heavy for you to handle, you're not going to enjoy it too much. You know, every time you fire that rifle, you're going to be flinching. You're not going to be shooting accurately. You know, PH has got to back up, or you're tracking wounded animals. And
it might cost you the trophy of a lifetime.
Correct. You know, come out here with something you're really comfortable with. Shot placement. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we killed that elephant very cleanly with a 404 Jeffrey, and you know, while some guys would frown upon the use of a caliber that small, they prefer the 4.58s. For me as a client, I felt very comfortable, and of course, you had that big 470 double, and Donnie had his 450, and Tulani had his 458. I had a small riot behind me as far as firepower goes. But you know, as a visiting sportsman, I think anything in the 375 to 416 calibers is a very effective tool as well.
Correct. I mean, the 404 is a fantastic caliber. 416, they're all great calibers.
And you know, here in Zimbabwe, ammunition isn't easily available, and 375 is a readily available cartridge.
Correct. Yeah, it's the most commonly used rifle, and yeah, caliber basically.
And your wife shoots it well.
Correct.
Thanks, buddy.
Good.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm here with our trackers. I've got Mbuta and I've got Sylvester, who are two of the best guys I've ever worked with. And you know, so many times on safari, you'll be following the tracker and professional hunter, and you're kind of wondering what's going on. These guys are the magic. These guys are the ones that are going to tell you how fresh the track is and where the animal's going. And look, I'm pretty good in my native environment. We can track deer, you know, bear tracks and whatnot. I'm lost over here. These guys can track a hippo across the paved parking lot. It's crazy. Mbuta, tell me really quick, where did you learn how to track?
Yeah, it was some years ago when I was still a young guy. Then I just tell myself, let me do this from following cattle, goats
Mhm.
at home.
Natural livestock.
Yeah, yeah. Then from there, that's where I can see I can follow anything.
One particular animal out of a herd. Just the way it walks.
Yeah, yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Sylvester, where did you learn how to track?
I learned how to track this the same way as he did. We grew up herding cattle and goats, so even if even if it gets lost, then I just walk by. I could tell, oh, my beast crossed here. Then I would follow it and find it.
Excellent, excellent.
The beauty of these guys, what they're explaining also is that when you grow up in the rural areas, you should be able to know the hoof print of the cattle from your home. That's where it
Individually.
begins. Individually, you can pick them up.
Yes.
Either sometimes what happens is in the village, you've got cattle, they've got a bell. They put a bell around them, but you should be able to pick it up from the hoof print. And then later on you hear them. But that's where the tracking begins.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, Mbuta, I have to ask you a question. On this particular safari, we were hunting elephants. So we would go to the water holes, or we would find the spuri where it comes across the road, and you just get out and start staring at the ground, and I'm kind of like, hey man, let's go. What's he looking at? Tell me, how do you age a track? How do you know what night it was from?
Especially like there's leopard, lion, hyena, and some other small stuff. Then usually, if you can just drive around in the bush, I always keep my mind and keep my eyes on
For fresh
tracks.
tracks, yeah.
Yes. So if I see something, then I have to stop the vehicle, then I have to jump down and have a look for that spot. Then I can tell this is leopard, or this is lion,
Mhm.
or this is hyena.
When you see that track, what tells you how old it is?
Yeah, especially something like, let's talk about maybe buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell by saying if they come to the water point, if they go across the road, if I can just stop the vehicle, then I just follow a little bit. I can see by leaves or grass where they just go up across. If it is, if the leaves are not dry, you can tell this is fresh, or they just go across right now.
The way they break the leaves and move the grass.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes.
Amazing. Yeah, you've got such a
Yeah.
natural gift for it.
Yeah.
He's the man. I want to change things up a bit here. Sylvester, or Elevester as we call him. We got a beautiful non-trophy elephant yesterday, 25-pound tusks, male on the older side of things, and Sylvester grabbed a native axe made from mopani wood and a big wide blade, and I had the privilege of watching this man chop the tusks out. Sylvester, where did you learn the art of chopping out a tusk? Because I got to tell you, you didn't put a ding in the ivory whatsoever. Tell me, where did you learn that?
Firstly, you need to be accurate on how you place your axe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I gained experience mainly. I started chopping wood, carving. Then that's where I got my accuracy. Then when I started hunting, I got into the field, and that's when I started learning now how to do the chopping of the ivory. Then mainly you got to be very accurate.
Accuracy is key.
Yes, accuracy is
He's like Leonardo da Vinci.
main.
He just cuts away everything that isn't elephant tusk. He's amazing. Guys, when you come on safari, do yourself a favor and do your best to learn just a little bit of the native language that your trackers and skinners will speak, because the three of us have developed quite the relationship in the past week, and if it's not for these guys, you're going to be following the backside of your professional hunter looking at a whole lot of nothing. So give credit where credit is due. Tulani and I are here outside the kitchen where the magic happens for dinner. So many times on safari, there's more people behind the scenes, especially in a remote camp here, where you're in these big dangerous game blocks. You're not in town, so you've got to have full-time staff. Tulani, tell me about what you've got going on.
Okay, this camp is just outside of Hwange National Park, as we did say earlier on, and we've got about 5-6 chalets, which can take at least 2 clients in a room, sharing, that is. And then we've got what we call a professional hunters quarters. And then we've got staff quarters as well. And then where the staff quarters are, we've got a staff complement of about, put it at 15. There's a head chef, there's an assistant chef, who's also the manageress of the camp, who's stationed here at the camp. Her name is Lucy. Head chef is Linda. Then we've got other staff like general hands, guys that do your boilers, make sure that you've got hot water. They also do the lawns, fix up the grass, do the sweeping around the chalets, make sure that it's all clean. The grass is nicely trimmed and kept clean. They also water the grass as well, the lawn, the flowers, what we have of it,
Right.
We've also got guys that will go out and chop your wood. They are also part of the general hands. And then we've got the skinners, the guys we've already interviewed, the skinners, the trackers, all those guys, they all complement one another. And that's what we have. And also to add, people would ask and say, why so many people?
Well, it's a big operation you've got.
It is, it's a big operation, when you have a camp like this one. Maybe we'll get a chance to go around so that you can see what's going on. But we have a big staff complement, mainly to also to have to be able to carry out the work that we do.
And provide a great hunt for us.
Provide
I put
a good service, yes.
I put my laundry on the floor in the morning and magically it reappeared.